Hello, students. I'm here today. I'm always experimenting with something. I think that it's important that in education you do experiment. And you know, the important part of what I do is conversation. I believe it's through conversation, through speaking, that you can best learn a language. Not necessarily through studying grammar and all that. Okay, you can do that. But let's face it, as I say, this video is also for the purpose of when I use expressions, normal expressions in my conversation, you hear a normal conversation, that I will define it. So when I say let's face it, it simply means let's look at the facts. Let's look at what is really happening. Okay, let's face it. Now I forgot. I lost my train of thought. There you go, another one. Can I do this? I don't know. My train of thought means what I was trying to say. Because essentially when we speak, we have almost programmed in us what we want to express. And then when we interrupt that program, we end up with, oh, I'm lost. I don't know what I wanted to say, okay? Okay. Empathy is a very important part of our life. And often let me define empathy first. Empathy is being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. There's another one. Okay, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. You can look at the world the way they look at it, with the same feelings and with the same point of view. Okay, we need to have empathy to make us human. Otherwise, we're not a human being like a sociopath. Okay, we're just in a body, running around, doing whatever our inner appetites desire for us to do. So, the reason I've come around to this, the reason I chose this, okay, is that I recently saw a video put out by somebody who was a sociologist. And he was trying to explain empathy. And he used an example about, suppose the Chinese came to our country and took all our coal, and they became very rich, and we became very poor. What would we think of the Chinese? Or could we possibly understand why a Chinese person would do that? Can we have the feelings of, we would look at them as thieves and terrible people because they have subjected us to this terrible situation. They have taken our natural resources and made themselves rich while we got very poor. And then he switches over to the example in Iraq, how we have gone to the Middle East, and how we have fought wars and killed people for the ideal. And literally this is true, even though we don't admit it, to steal their oil, or not to steal the oil, but to buy the oil and to use it, and leave them in poverty. You know, there's a great deal of poverty in the Middle East. And so the only thing we're thinking about is getting rid of the Taliban and ISIS and all that type of stuff. So they're not a problem for us to buy oil. And if we can drive down the price of oil, that's even better. Well, you might think that that is a bad thing. And in the view of an Iraqi, that is a bad thing. Because you have the Americans coming over with all their armament and all their stuff, fighting people, killing people, one thing and another, with the excuse that we're helping you, but are we really? We're interested in their oil. We wouldn't be interested in the Middle East. If it really came down to it, there we go. Came down to it means if we were really honest, okay? We pretend that we're helping. And America is not any different from any other imperialistic country, like England and France and Spain and Portugal. They've all gone out with their greater technology, and that's an important part. The technology is the important part of being able to go into somebody's country and have superiority. And that happened in Latin America with the Spanish, who had cannons and rifles and all those things, while the Incas and the Aztecs were running around with bows and arrows, okay? And that happened in America the same way when the English went to America. And they fought them with superior weapons, and they only had bows and arrows, and there you go. America's not the only country that's done this. We just have followed the role of all other highly more advanced countries of technology. The Romans did that. They were superior warriors. They had weapons and knew how to fight war in a superior way against the so-called primitive people of Europe and other parts of the world. Okay, I'm not going to go much longer in this. I don't want to make it too long. But what I want to do is sort of like have a little conversation with you. And we can amplify this by going online and going to Hangout or one of the other ones, Skype and so forth, and we can have these conversations together, a give and take conversation. Give and take means to share. To share, you say something, I say something, and we have a good conversation. So I'm going to end it here. It's my first experiment with this, and if you want to give me some feedback, you know my email, and let me know, make any suggestions of what you think of this, and have any suggestions and ways to improve our interaction, student, teacher. I want your contributions too. Maybe if you can make a video like this too. Okay? I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.